Hello there. This is Mary Pat Carrero, and you are joining my first live video sharing, or I won't even call it, it's not a conference, it's a sharing. Okay, time to share about what's going on with your child. Today's topic is resistance to school, to homework, to reading, all the problems you're seeing about your child struggling with school and you don't know what it's about, okay? This is the first of my series for parents. It's called And Teachers. If you know a teacher who is wanting to know more about how to serve children with learning and behavior difficulties, you know, they're quite welcome to join us here. The name of it is Empowered Parents and Successful Kids, okay? That's the name of the series. And today is my very first live video presentation. So I'm like a new student here, and hopefully I will be here for you to answer your questions. We'll take a minute to see who's going to be joining us. If you have a comment, please write your comment below. If you have any questions throughout my sharing, please feel free to post it there as well. Okay, and yeah, we'll just wait another minute to give people time to connect. I know it's the middle of the afternoon for a lot of people, and this is at the East Coast. So just say hello, where you're from. You can tell me a little bit about your child and what your child's needs are. Okay. All right now. So, like I said, today's topic is about resistance. Resistance to going to school, to doing schoolwork, homework, resistance to reading. And first of all, let's get straight what we're talking about when we're talking about resistance, okay? Because we could have a lot of different views or understandings of what it is. And most of these I'm sure that you can relate to, all right? Resistance behaviors, which it's a behavior, include crying, whining, arguing, refusal to do schoolwork, refusal to go to school. And this is for children, young children going through elementary school, as well as teenagers, okay? There are many teenagers I've seen come through my center who have learning disabilities that have never been identified because they are bright kids, but they definitely have shown resistance behaviors. And unfortunately with that, too many of them are then misidentified, mislabeled, okay? So refusal to go to school, to do homework, forgetting to bring work home, hiding work, losing work, don't having any homework. This is a lot of children say, oh, I did it in school, or I don't have any homework. Okay, and then you find out next week, you get a call from your teacher. What's going on? He hasn't handed his work in a week. All right, those are red flags as to something else is going on for your child, okay? Procrastinating, well, we all know about procrastinating, okay? That's a big piece. And talking you into doing the homework with them, very often, which means for them, okay? Especially if you have a child about in the 5th grade or older, and they're still wanting you to do homework with them, that is definitely a red flag, okay? That something's going on for your child. And please, if nothing else you get from this afternoon, I want you to know to look beyond the appearances. Okay, what you see right in front of you is not what the real problem is, okay? That is a symptom. So all of these behaviors that we're talking about are symptoms. It doesn't mean your child is spoiled or this or that or the other thing, okay? Even, motivation, lack of motivation, lack of productivity, those are all symptoms, okay? And what this series is going to get to is what is really going on for your child, okay? So those are some of the behavior resistance behaviors. If you have an additional ones that you're seeing that I didn't mention, you can, type them in the chat. Okay, but essentially, I think you get the picture about what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to look beyond the appearances. because all of those behaviors are actually symptoms. And when you see my head turning to the side, it's because I'm looking at my notes. All right. I have lots of lovely notes, which I will turn into a blog, which I will also have available to you. So you don't have to be, writing notes drastically trying to keep up with what I'm saying, because I also speak fast. So I will be looking at my notes to stay on target and to make sure I give you everything that I've downloaded from my years of experience as to what's going on with children. So you're what you got, of course, is a detective. What are the real problems behind the symptoms? Okay, even when you think about academics, reading, having difficulty reading, not being able to do times tables, those also are all symptoms. Okay, the academic problems are actually the symptoms, because research called Structure of Intellect Systems has identified all of the intellectual abilities, all of the perceptual abilities, which are how the brain interprets all the sensory input. There are 26 intellectual abilities, 11 perceptual skills that are essential for children to function at their potential. Okay, so all of those need to be looked at, assessed, evaluated, if you will, to see what is weak or missing, which is causing a child to have trouble with reading, with math, with comprehension, with spelling, all of those. These are also at the root of ADHD, of dyslexia. Okay, so there's a lot of information that has to be really looked into, and you will be your child's best detective and best advocate through this information, and this is why I call it the empowered parent. All right, so with that now, looking at what is at the root of what is the real problem for your child. Okay, it might be physical, it might be a physical problem. Neurotoxins are very common, other kinds of medical issues, emotional, social, and again, then the whole complex process of learning, which we had just briefly mentioned. Okay, so the easiest place and most realistic place to start with is at home. All right, the real problem may be occurring at home, in school, on the playground, on the bus, in the neighborhood. All right, our children, of course, they don't think like us, they don't perceive like us. And so something that to us is rather minor might be the root cause of some resistance for going to school. Okay, something that happened in the neighborhood. A lot of our towns, the neighborhood, the buses, the kids in the neighborhood are the same kids on the bus. So if there was a problem or something happened after school in the neighborhood or on the weekend, and it's carried onto the bus, and your child doesn't want to go to school because they don't want to take the bus, and they don't want you to know what's going on. So it can be something very simple. We were children too, and so use your own childhood experiences with helping you to understand your own child. School's cafeteria. Okay, hallways in the school. It can, the atmosphere in the classroom can be rather chaotic. If you have a child who's somewhat sensitive emotionally or just energetically, you have a child who's already been identified on the spectrum, the energy in a school is tremendous. There are so many people, so many personalities and moods and noise and movement, and all of that has an absolute impact on a child's energetic system. Okay, and they can absolutely feel overwhelmed, overloaded, and this will be part of the issue. Okay, so there are a lot of pieces of the puzzle that need to be put together before you really get to the root of what's going on for your child, and if it's a learning-based issue or if it's one of these other areas. So let's look at, talk a little bit about the home. Are there any changes going on in your home? Any challenges going on for the family? Are you having issues with in-laws? Are you having issues with your relationship with your spouse, or parents? Are you taking care of elderly parents? Is there any illness in the family? All of these stressors on us, although our children may not be directly involved, they are absolutely impacted by the energy of it. Okay. So if there are other issues going on in your home, the children take this on. They may not want to bother you with what they're worrying about, and it starts to eat on them. They can develop anxiety, and it can fall over into, then they don't want to go to school because they're worried for you. They just don't feel well. They just don't have the energy, the whatever to do it. So there are so many pieces of the puzzle, and other children, none of this may be an issue. Okay, so this is obviously on a child for child basis. Are there any issues with jobs, with you, with your spouse or your mate, or just even yourself with a job situation? Is there a new baby in the family, or other sibling issues? Is your child having difficulty getting along with a sibling and they go to the same school together, or they go on the bus together? There's so many pieces for you to unravel. Okay. And again, with children, it may be very subtle, and from our perspective, we don't get it. We don't see why it's a big deal, why it's a problem. But again, at their level of maturity and development, and their perception, things are very different. Okay, so we really need to get a child's eye view of what's really going on. All right. And they may be afraid to share it. They may, love you, and they don't want you to get worried about them, or they don't want to hurt your feelings. Children will do that as well. Some, in my life experience, some of the most horrendous things that have happened to a child, they kept from their parents, because they just didn't know how to share it either with your child. And great, hopefully that is not the situation for your child. But I just want you to be open to knowing that, we don't know. We don't know until we really know, and to not make assumptions, and to not, just look at it as face value. Again, what we see at face value is the red flag, though. Okay. So, number one solution: explore what's going on at school. Okay, with other children in school. Are they being bullied? That's what we didn't get in school so much. I kind of got off on a tangent. In school, are they being bullied in the classroom? The teacher, the child might feel that the teacher is being mean to them or to other children. If a child sees another student getting ragged out or criticized or whatever by a teacher, that might make them afraid that, someday that could be me. That could happen to me too. And they could be afraid and feel bad, not only for their classmate, but even more so worrying about themselves, what might be happening to them down the road. Okay, so that could be something as simple as that for why your child doesn't want to go to school. So all of these pieces have to be explored. Okay, and even if you want to go and do an observation in your school, I strongly recommend that. You have the perfect right to go and observe your child in school, in the classroom, in the lunchroom, on the playground. Okay, there is absolutely nothing against that. You're doing that. And if the school it gives you a hard time about it, don't listen to no. Okay, you are there for your child. You have a right to be there for your child. If you have to give them notice ahead of time, fine. Or notice in writing, whatever they want, fine. But you have the absolute right to go visit your child's classroom and the cafeteria and the playground. Okay, I do advocacy for parents as well around this stuff, so I know, what is and what isn't. And then, unfortunately, parents are sometimes told things that are not really true. Okay, I hate to say that, but it is what it is. Okay, so the one solution is don't force the process. Your child's having a meltdown about homework or school. Okay, we need to just help them to get calm, first of all. Okay, they need to know that they are loved and listened to, and that you're going to work this out with them. Okay, that you're on their side. We don't make those assumptions because sometimes they don't feel that way. Okay, so just need to be really upfront about what is possible for them. Put this homework aside for the moment. If you have to write the notes for a teacher, if there's a test the next day, where your child's at is what's most important, okay? Do something else. Have them help you with dinner, have a conversation that way. The best way to get children to really tell you what's going on is in a very nonchalant way, okay, when they're somewhat distracted and relaxed, okay? So or spend some time going for a walk the dog together, things like this, okay, and find out what's going on for your child. That's the best you can. Boy, it really sounds like you don't like to do homework. What's going on with that? Okay, I remember, and you could share your own life experiences. That would be awesome. All right, I remember when I was first learning to read and da-da-da-da. Okay, and have them share, see what kind of information you can get from your child. All right, it may be as simple as, for them, that I was working all day in school. School was so hard. And now I have to come home and do all this homework. And I had soccer practice after school. And I had a game. And I didn't have any time for me. I know that some of you have heard that. And you're like, what? You didn't have any time for you? Tell me about it. I didn't have any time for you. Didn't have any time for you. What about this and this? Even though they've had soccer games and ballet and practices and all those things that are fun that they want to do, they don't necessarily see that as playtime or downtime for them. Children, as well as us, they need to just have chill out time. Okay, so perhaps, reorganizing their after school schedule may be part of it. I need to have a conversation about that. This seems like this is an awful lot for you right now. Maybe we need to put it off till the spring or the summer, or, we have to figure out how to balance all of this. And, and involve them in that process as well. What can they do? How do they do it? All right, you come home from soccer, you can have a snack, chill out for a little bit, and then we're going to do homework. All right. So just it's going to all work out. I have 2 grown adult children. I remember those school days, okay, and the pressures and all of the, that goes on with teachers as well. And it will work out. So they need chill out time. There's so much to cover here. I've already been talking. Well, it feels like a half hour. It's almost been about 15 minutes. I'm going to offer a free webinar on this topic. As I was putting notes and ideas together, I realized how much information there is and what a big topic this really is about resistance to school and learning. All right, so I will offer a webinar with notes or slides on this topic in more detail, and I will post it on my Center for Learning Enhancement Facebook page for you to get that information, okay? If you would like to get on my mailing list and to know more details about webinars and parent groups, things like that, send me your email address, and you can do that by either calling me. I will post my phone number on the page, and also by sending me an email to MaryPat at centerforlearningenhancement.com. Okay, that's my business email address. So MaryPat at centerforlearningenhancement.com. If you would like a free consultation about your child, we can set that up as well. All right, so we went through all the different questions. Is a teacher being mean to them? Is another child being mean to them? Are they being bullied? Okay, great. We're getting through all of this. Now, children, there are some children who are energetically very sensitive. This is different from emotional sensitivity, okay? And you can find out, I can help you with finding out what your child's energetic profile is. Because a lot of these children, they come home and they're exhausted, not physically, but it's mentally and energy-wise. They are sucked dry, okay? And they're uncomfortable, and they just don't want this experience. They don't want to feel this way. And there's a lot that we can do to help them with that, okay? So especially children on the spectrum, if you know your child has some sensory motor issues, if they have, other sensory issues, absolutely this is a piece of it. And there's a lot that we can do to support your child with that. Okay, so again, if you drop me a line about that, and I can give you some help with that as well. So as you see, we're just started talking just about the behavioral pieces. We haven't even gotten to the whole learning process and their learning abilities that might be at the root of all of this, of the resistance to school. If none of these areas seem to be a problem, you know that they're not a problem, your child says they're not a problem, okay, then there's a good chance that there is some covert learning issues, underdeveloped learning abilities that your child is dealing with, okay? And they can be pretty simple. Your child can look very smart, and they're very smart, and they can still have learning challenges and learning problems, okay? And that's where, again, I want you to not assume, and to again, that first statement, what did I say? That appearances are actually the symptom. So if you have a bright child who looks like they have motivation problems, they're procrastinating, all of this stuff, yes, their behaviors, but if all of these other areas are not an issue for them, then you definitely need to look into the covert learning issues. And again, there are 26 intellectual abilities and 11 perceptual skills that are at the root of all learning disabilities. Okay, so those would definitely need to be explored, and those would be in another the next video that we'll take a look at those. Okay. What I would like you to do, what I recommend that you do, is start making a list of all the symptoms you are seeing. Academically, start with that. Okay, behaviorally, emotionally, socially, and actually they're all intertwined. Okay, there is no separation from school. Learning is a body-brain experience process. Okay, it's not just one piece. There are a lot of systems, and like I said, it's a very complex process, and all of these pieces are a piece of the puzzle, and all of these are symptoms. Okay, so you want to make a list of all your child's symptoms in all of those different areas. Okay, and you can bring them with you to the next time we get together. You can bring them here. You can email them to me, and we'll help you to unravel what's going on for your child. So what are you seeing? Okay, what are you hearing from your child's teachers? What is your child saying? That is even more important. Okay, so often you'll hear from teachers, no, he's fine. He's very quiet, this or that, or she is this or that. They don't see it. If you see it, it's real. If your child is complaining about something, it's real. Okay. Again, it's their perception, but there is something at the root of it, and that is what's contributing to their resistance to school, to homework, to reading, to learning. Okay. So I think that I pretty much covered all that I was going to cover right now. I don't see anybody here who is having any questions at this point, which is fine. I am going to record this. I am recording it, and I will post it, and you can still then send me any questions that you have. Send me an email, marypat@centerforlearningenhancement.com. All right. 2 areas now, I hope you're not disappointed, but you may be a little bit disappointed. Well, I thought you were going to get into the learning piece. Like I said, it is a huge piece in and of itself. And, but what I do strongly recommend to you, and I feel that this is any child who has any learning issues in school, this is an absolute what they need to have. These 2 evaluations that the schools never do, or hardly ever do, okay? We won't say never, but hardly ever do. And I have seen so many children who have had their problems are in these 2 areas. One is about vision. Okay, now we're not talking acuity. A child can have 20/20 acuity and still have vision. And vision is it's a motor behavior, actually. It's how the eyes work together. All right, and it causes a lot of resistance, especially with reading, because your child is not aware that there is something going on with their eyes, but it will cause headaches. It will cause all kinds of weird symptoms visually as well. And it just makes them uncomfortable. Okay. So vision is a critical piece of the puzzle. And you need to find yourself a developmental or behavioral optometrist. Okay. They're not the same optometrists who just check, for vision. You need a development, they're called developmental and behavioral optometrists, because they look at how the eyes actually work together. Okay. They sweep across the page. Do they fixate together, looking at close point and far point? Whether your child has double vision, which is very common, and most kids don't even know that they have double vision. It is a tremendous impact on their learning process. Okay, so yeah, the vision, having a solid vision evaluation done. And the other one is an audiological. Okay, now with the audiological, you do want to have a hearing test done. I have had children who are being identified for learning disabilities who, when I recommended their parents go for an audiological, they found out that they had some hearing loss. Well, of course, they're going to have learning challenges, and yet the schools, did not look into that at all. So audiological, first of all, for the hearing piece, and the second piece is called a central auditory processing assessment. Okay, and this is how the ears, how the brain interprets the information taken in by the ears. All right, there's a lot of different aspects of that as well. Audiological, central auditory processing disorder is a tremendous piece of the puzzle for all children. I have yet to see a child who came in with any kind of learning difficulties, including ADHD, who did not have auditory processing disorder. Okay, so it's a very big, important piece of the puzzle. And it will help your child ahead of time, knowing that you could circumvent having any learning problems or resistance in school. Okay, so if you haven't had that now, I would strongly recommend you go find a good audiologist who doesn't just do, hearing and hearing aids, but actually works with children, who knows about this assessment, and will determine if your child has auditory processing difficulties and weaknesses or not, and specifically what they are. Okay, and those then can be trained. Both them and the vision can be trained so that their eyes and their ears function, which is actually the brain functioning we're talking about, how their brain will interpret their information from their eyes and from their ears to at their full potential. Okay, so those are the two pieces that you can take away from doing for yourself now. If you have any questions about it, or what was that evaluation again, Mary Pat at centerforlearningenhancement.com. All right, or you could put a little message to me on my Center for Learning Enhancement Facebook page. Okay, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. All right, I talked fast, and I hope this was informative. And yeah, send me some feedback. Okay, what else do you need? What questions do you have? All right, it's great being with you. This is like I said, a first time for me. So you need to get the information out there. There is so much that can be done for children besides medicating them. So many children are being mislabeled or misidentified, misdiagnosed in terms of their learning issue. There are so many silent strugglers out there. And that's what this video series is about, helping parents so that they can help their child and eliminate that problem, because it does contribute to stress in the family. Learning issues is a family issue, right? I know you know that. All right, so have a great day, have a great week, and be in touch. And I will be here again next week at this time. All right, if there is a better time that works for you guys, let me know. All right, and we can rearrange that too. All right, so next week, what day is this? Is this Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't even remember. Wednesday, right? It's October 4th. That's all that matters. It's October 4th, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. All right. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.